Hi everybody, welcome to this day in history for January 29th. We start here today, 336 days remaining until the end of this year. We actually started this show on December 9th, I think, so we'll be ending or doing something different when it comes to that date. So get excited about it, but we got we got like 300 more of these shows to do all year long. It's going to be a lot of fun. So let's get to it, folks. In 904, Sergius III comes out of retirement to take over the papacy from disposed anti-pope Christopher. Anti-popes are a really interesting thing. They show up a lot in the back in the day. These were people who thought that they were the pope, but they weren't. Go figure. We'll move to a little bit, we'll move a few, maybe 900 years ahead of time, when the U.S. President Andrew Jackson orders the first use of federal soldiers to suppress a labor dispute. 1834. In 1845, The Raven is published in the Evening Mirror in New York, the first publication with the name of the author, Edgar Allan Poe, who is from Baltimore, by the way. 1850, Henry Clay introduces the Compromise of 1850 to the U.S. Congress. Henry Clay, of course, was the Secretary of State. In 1856, Queen Victoria issues a warrant under the Royal Sign Manual that establishes the Victoria Cross to recognize acts of valor by British military personnel during the Crimean War. 1861, Kansas is admitted as the 34th U.S. state. Also a great band. I love Kansas. In 1863, a detachment of Florida volunteers led by Colonel Patrick Edward Connor engaged the Shoshone Indians in Bear River in the Washington Territory, killing hundreds of men, women, and children. In 1886, Carl Benz patents the first successful gasoline-driven automobile, 1866. In 1891, Queen Liliuokalani is proclaimed the last monarch and only queen regent of the Kingdom of Hawaii. They were all kings except for Liliuokalani. Kind of an interesting deal there. 1907, Charles Curtis of Kansas becomes the first Native American U.S. Senator. That's something I did not know. In 1916, Paris is first bombed by German Zeppelins. In 1936, the first inductees to the Baseball Hall of Fame are announced. 1943, the first day of the Battle of Rennell Island, cruiser Chicago is torpedoed and heavily damaged by Japanese bombers. In 1944, World War II, approximately 30 people are killed and dozens are injured when the Polish village in Lithuania is attacked by Soviet partisan units. In 1963, the first inductees of the Pro Football Hall of Fame are announced. In 1967, the ultimate high of the hippie era, the Mantra Rock Dance, takes place in San Francisco and features Janis Joplin, the Grateful Dead, and Allen Ginsberg. In 1989, Hungary establishes diplomatic relations with South Korea, making it the first Eastern Bloc nation to do so. 1991, the Gulf War, the Battle of... I'm not even going to try to pronounce that place. There was a battle, first ground engagement of the war, and it was the deadliest. 1996, President Jacques Chirac announces a definite end to nuclear testing in France. 2002, George Bush, in his State of the Union address, describes regimes that sponsor terror as the axis of evil, which includes Iraq, Iran, and North Korea. 2005, the first flights from mainland China to Taiwan since 1949 happened, and then they arrived in Taipei. So kind of a trippy deal there. 2009, the Supreme Constitutional Court of Egypt rules that people who do not adhere to one of the three government religions are not allowed to list any belief outside of those three, but are still eligible to receive government identity documents. 2009, also, the governor of Illinois, he had such a hard name, Blagojevich, I'll try it anyway, is removed from office after he tries to sell the seat of then-President-elect Barack Obama. 2013, Scat Airlines 760 crashes near Kazakhstan. And there was a mosque shooting in 2017, last year, killing 6 and wounding 19. So now we go to who was born in this day in history. I might even come up with a really cool song for that. We'll figure it out. Henry Lee III, 1756, the 9th governor of Virginia. William McKinley, the 25th president of the United States, he was born this day in history, 1843. W.C. Fields was born this day in 1880. John Rockefeller Jr. was born this day in 1874. Looking down the list, John Forsyth was born this day in 1918. Of course, very famous for the show Dynasty, and just an all-around really cool guy. The oldest person born this day in history that's still with us is Jack Burke Jr. He was a golfer, born 1923, so happy 95th birthday to you, sir. Alright, going down the list a little further, Katharine Ross was born this day in history. So was Pat Quinn. Jim Nicholson, who's a politician in Northern Ireland. Tom Selleck, it's his birthday today, so happy birthday to Tom. Ann Jillian, it's her birthday today as well. Charlie Wilson. It's Oprah Winfrey's birthday today. Oprah Winfrey says that she's not running for president, but she can definitely celebrate her birthday knowing that she made a difference for a lot of people. Greg Louganis. Tommy Ramone was born this day in history as well. Romero was born this day in history. Stacey King. Heather Graham was born this day in history. Paul Ryan was born this day in history. Johnny Lang. Adam Lambert. I have heard the name before. And let's see, we'll do one more. Sarah Gilbert. We'll do Sarah Gilbert, who is from the show Roseanne, which comes back to TV very, very soon. I believe it is in March. So, also looking at the deaths of the state in history, going way back into, times of whatever. Ali, the cousin and son-in-law of Muhammad, died this day in 661. Moving way forward to George III, who died this day in history in 1820. Christian IX of Denmark died this day in 1906. Robert Frost died this day in 1963. Jimmy Durante died this day in 1980. And Camilla Williams died this day in 2012. So that is a little bit of this date in history. For today, it is Kansas Day, and Kansas is also the earliest day which Fat Thursday can fall, March 4th being the latest, celebrated the Thursday before Ash Wednesday. So, little history there as well. So, folks, enjoy the rest of your day. This day in history has been highlighted. We'll be back with all the others as we do it every single morning here on thescottshow.com.